Advait, I have enabled the screen sharing. You can show your PPT presentation to your friends. Yes, Edward Lear's nonsense poems. Advait, will you be able to read it out along with that? Okay, just go to the next slide. The Owl and the Pussycat. I think I have to read it for him. Anyway, The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear is a simple, joy-filled poem that tells the marriage story of an owl and a cat. This nonsense poem starts with the boat journey of the two main characters named in the title. They profess their love to one another and decide to get married. So the characters are Owl and Pussycat.
Ma'am,
Yes, Nandana.
I have read this poem.
You have read it? Okay,
My
okay.
sister had read it.
All right. Then the second poem is How Pleasant to Know Mr. In the poem, How Pleasant to Know Mr. Lear is described as an old man and has contrasting characters. When the people talk about his bad experience, he becomes ill-tempered and queer. And as he feels bad, he uses to weep by the ocean and on the top of the hill. Yes, how pleasant to know Mr. Lear. Yes, the next slide. The dog with the luminous nose. The script is fairly faithful to Lear's original poem and tells the story of a lonely boy called Edward who falls in love with a strange jumpy creature that washes up on the shore. When it disappears, Edward attaches a glowing nose to his face in the hope he might eventually be reunited with his love. The dog with the luminous nose. Then the next one is the Jumblies. In the poem, The Jumblies by Edward Lear, the protagonists choose to go to sea in a literal sense, but they also voyage across a metaphorical sea by standing up to the opposing opinions of their peers. Thus, they can appreciate the courage of Jumblies to take risks and undertake their seafaring dreams. The Quangle Wangle's hat. Lear creates a home in the lovely hat of Quangle Wangle for all his creatures. The poem revolves around the idea that a comfortable life is not necessarily a happy life if we are isolated from the rest of the society. Yes, absolutely correct. All right, very good presentation, Advait. Children, just give him a good clap. Yes. It was just given as a simple homework, but he took really an effort to make it a PPT presentation to show it to the entire class. Very well appreciated, Advait Sinoob. Good work. All right. So shall we begin our poem, The Duck and the Kangaroo? So as the title suggests, the two main characters in our poem, one is duck and the other one is kangaroo. Where do you find kangaroo? In which place or in which country do you find kangaroo?
Australia.
Yes, kangaroos are mostly found in Australia. And what is the peculiarity of this animal?
It has a pocket where it carries baby.
Yes, it has got a small pouch where it carries a younger one. Then?
And hops a lot.
Yes, it can hop, it can jump to a great distance. Then what about its tail?
No.
It has got a long and strong tail. Okay, so kangaroo is often regarded as herbivorous, leaping marsupial mammal. It has got powerful rear legs and small head, large ears and long powerful hind legs and also a long thick tail. And what about the duck?
Duck is small.
Yes, it's a small,
They're
small in size.
Their kind of walking is entirely different.
Yes, the style of walking is very different. It walks very slowly. And what kind of sound does it produce?
Quack.
Quack, quack, quack. All of you just make it so we can feel that ducklings are there in the class. Quack, 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 quack. Right?
Quack, quack,
Yes,
quack,
yes,
quack, quack.
there is. Very good. Yes. Come on, children. It's a nonsense poem. Okay. So do not have any kind of inhibition. You can simply sit and enjoy listening to the poem. Quack, quack, quack. Sound made by the duck. And what else is the another speciality of duck?
It can swim.
Yes, it can swim. It can live in water as well as on the land. And it has got a webbed feet. Am I right? Yes,
Yes,
it
yes.
has got a webbed feet. And most of the time, its legs will be wet. All right. So let's move into the poem. First, I'll make you recite stanza by stanza, and then we'll go on with the explanation. So who is going to read it for me? The first stanza? Come on.
Ma'am.
Yes, Lynette. Read.
The duck and the kangaroo. Said the duck to the kangaroo, "Good gracious, how you hop over the fields and the water too, as if you never would stop. My life is a bore in the nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hop like you," said the duck to the kangaroo.
Okay, good, good reciting. Yes, next. Somebody from the boy side? Hmm? Amin? Come on, children, don't waste time. The moment you hear your name, unmute and read. Amin, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, read the next
I
stanza.
I don't have the text.
You don't have the text. Okay, that's why you gave me a blank look. Navaneet, read.
Ma'am, please give me a ride on your back, said the duck to the kangaroo. I would sit quite still and say nothing but quack the whole of the long day through. And we did go to the deep and the jelly bow lee over the land and over the sea. Please take me a ride. Oh, do, said the duck to the kangaroo.
Okay, thank you, Navaneet. Next, Isha, read. Unmute and read, Isha.
Said the kangaroo to the duck. This requires some little reflection. Perhaps, on the whole, it might bring me luck. And there seems but one objection, which is, if you let me speak so bold, your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold, and would probably give me the rheumatism, said the kangaroo.
All right. Then the fourth stanza, Jairus, read. Jairus, unmute and read the fourth stanza. No response. Okay. So, Atik, yes, Jairus, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, read.
Said the duck, as I sat on the rocks, I have thought over that completely. And I bought 4 pairs of
worsted socks. Worsted socks.
Which fit my webbed feet neatly. And to keep out the cold, I bought a cloak, and every day a cigar I'll smoke, or to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo.
Yes. And the last stanza, Pooja. Pooja, read the last stanza.
Said the kangaroo, "I am ready."
Switch on your video and read.
One minute.
Pooja, switch on your video and then read. Why there is a delay, Pooja? What's wrong with your video? Nivedya, read.
Ma'am.
Okay, Pooja.
Said the kangaroo, "I am ready." All in the moonlight pale. But to balance me well, dear duck, stood steady, and quite at the end of my tail. So away they went with a hop and a bound, and they hopped the whole world 3 times round. And who so happy, oh who, as the duck and the kangaroo?
Yes. Okay. So the poem total consists of 5 stanzas. Let's go through in detail. Okay, just to make you lively in the class, I would like to give a tune to the first stanza, only just for one stanza. Okay, so listen. Said the duck to the kangaroo, good gracious, have you hope? Over the fields and the water too, as if you never would stop. My life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hope like you, said the duck to the kangaroo. Did you enjoy, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so as this is nonsense poem, we can learn it lively. So the characters here are duck and the kangaroo. What is the duck saying to the kangaroo? Good gracious, how you hope. Duck is a creature who who spends most of its time in the water and sometimes on the land. Okay, so the duck is feeling that kangaroo has got a good opportunity. Gracious here means an opportunity for a journey. Kangaroo can hope and jump and it can visit lots and lots of places. So the duck is fascinated about the kangaroo's ability to jump and go around the places. So it says, good gracious, how you hope. I'm so happy to see that you hope and visit lots and lots of places over the fields and the water. You can go over the fields and also over the waters as if you would never stop. So your life seems like a continuous journey and you just keep on hoping and hoping. My life is a board in this nasty pond. So look at the statement made by Duck. My life is a board in this nasty pond. What do you mean by nasty? Nasty means very bad, unpleasant. Okay, nasty means very bad or unpleasant. So the life of the duck is limited to a small water pond. Life of the duck is limited to a small water pond. So the duck says that, oh, my life is very, very boring here. I can't hope like you. My life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I really wanted to go and hope and visit so many places just like you do. I wish I could hope like you. So that is a wish or desire of the little duck. I wish I can hope like you, said the duck to the kangaroo. Said the duck to the kangaroo, good gracious, have you hope over the field and the water too, as if you never would stop. My life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hope like you, said the duck to the kangaroo. Is the first answer clear to you? I'm just treating you like a small kids, okay? Just because it's a nonsense poem. Hope you don't mind. Shall we move to the second stanza?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? All right. Please give me a ride on your back, said the duck to the kangaroo. I would sit quite still and say nothing but quack the whole of the long day through. And we'd go to the D and the jelly bowl lee, over the land, over the sea. Please take me a ride, oh do, said the duck to the kangaroo. So what is the wish or desire of the duck? The duck wants to have a ride on the back of the kangaroo. Please, that's the request. Please give me a ride. The duck is requesting to the kangaroo, please take me on your back. I would sit quite still. That means I would sit on your back without moving. You know what is the specialty of kangaroo? Kangaroo control its entire movement with the help of its tail. It balances that huge body with the help of its tail. Okay, so duck says that I would sit at the tip of your tail without moving to the side so that you can balance yourself. How many of you know to ride a bicycle? How many of you know? Yes, most of you know how to ride a bicycle. So for riding a bicycle, you have to have a proper balance, isn't it? Especially when you're keeping your younger one on the cycle, you have to have a good balance to ride it. If you don't have balance, what happens? Huh?
We will
Both
fall.
of you, yeah, both of you will fall down. So similarly, duck says that I'm ready to sit at the tip of your tail. Just give me a ride. I will not create any problem for you, but I'll keep on saying once in a while, quack, quack, quack. Okay, duck can't control herself from saying quack. I would make the sound quack, quack, but I'll sit quiet without moving. I would sit quite still and say nothing but quack. The whole of the long day through, the entire day, I will sit quiet and I'll not create any kind of disturbance. And we'd go to the D and the jelly bowl lee, over the land and over the sea. What is D and jelly bowl lee? Can you just tell me, can you guess the meaning of things? This is nonsense poem. Okay. So don't break your head thinking too much, but just tell me, what does this refer to? D and the jelly bowl lee.
Places.
Yes, the imaginary places. Okay, the imaginary places the duck would like to visit. And we'd go to the D and the jelly bowl lee, over the land and over the sea. Please take me a ride. Oh, do, said the duck to the kangaroo. So the duck is yearning for travel and adventure. And we find that the duck has a gift for loyalty, as well as she is making a promise that she will not disturb kangaroo while the journey is going on. Said the kangaroo to the duck, this requires some little reflection. Perhaps in the whole, it might bring me luck. And there seems but one objection, which is if you will let me speak so bold. Your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold and would probably give me the rheumatis, said the kangaroo. So kangaroo says that after listening to the request made by the duck, the kangaroo says that this requires some little reflection. What do you mean by reflection?
Duck is requesting, so the kangaroo will reflect your request back.
Pardon? Lynette, could you please repeat?
The duck is requesting, please give me a ride on your back.
Yes.
So the kangaroo is reflecting and asking, then if you are asking to me, so I will ask, like, I will also request, or I will also make.
So my question is, what do you mean by reflection? Reflection. Reflection here means thought. Thought. Kangaroo says that, okay, I listen to your request, but I have to think for some time. It needs a little reflection. This requires a little reflection. Perhaps on the whole, it might bring me luck. Perhaps on the whole, if I take you for a ride, maybe on the whole, it will bring me luck as well. I will also be able to enjoy the journey just like you do. But there is one objection. What is an objection? What do you mean by objection? You might have seen in the movies when a scene takes place in the court, the lawyer or the advocate just gets up and say, objection, Your Honor. Have you heard that? So what do you mean by objection? Objection means a state of disagreement. Objection. A state of disagreement. If you are not familiar with the words, please take down the meanings. A state of disagreement. So the kangaroo says that it requires some reflection. I have to think about it. I listen to your request, but I have to think about it. And on the whole, perhaps it would bring me luck, but I have an objection. I have a disagreement. Let's see what's that. Which is if you will let me speak so bold. Only if you let me speak it boldly, I'm ready to tell you what's my problem. What is the disagreement that I'm facing in taking you for a ride? Your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold. The duck has got a webbed feet, and that is always cold and wet. Why is it wet and cold? Because most of the time,
It's on the pond.
yes, it's in the water. It's in the water. So kangaroo says that your feet is wet and cold and would probably give me the rheumatis, said the kangaroo. So what do you mean by rheumatis? Actually, the spelling is different. Just make a note of it. Rheumatism. Rheumatism. What is rheumatism?
Back,
Pardon?
back pain.
Oh, not only back pain. Rheumatism is a kind of disease that affects your joints. Okay.
Ma'am, vadam.
Yes, yes, absolutely correct. Okay, so rheumatism is a kind of disease, a disease that affects your joints. Usually, the old people will be affected with rheumatism, especially during the winter season or the cold season. A disease that affects joints. Okay, a kind of arthritis. And you can experience joint pain here and there. Okay, muscle pain, joint pain, all will be felt if a person is affected with rheumatism. So Kangaroo says that your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold. And if you sit on my back, there is a chance for me to get affected with rheumatism. Got it? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Moving on to the fourth stanza, said the duck. As I sat on the rocks, I have thought over that completely. And I bought 4 pairs of worsted socks, which fit my web feet neatly. And to keep out the cold, I have bought a clock. And every day a cigar I'll smoke. And to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. So here we find that the duck is very thoughtful. She's much advanced than we think. Huh? Am I right? She's much more advanced. She knew very well what is the kind of objection that the kangaroo can make. So she sat on the rocks and she thought about it. So what is the kind of precaution taken by the duck? Duck says that, yes, I thought over it completely and I have come with a remedy. And I bought 4 pairs of worsted socks. What do you mean by worsted socks? Worsted socks means woolen socks. Worsted socks means woolen socks. Woolen clothes, you do wear it during the winter season or during the cold climate. Okay, so duck says that I have bought 4 pairs of woolen socks which fit my web feet completely. Duck's feet are wet and cold always. So in order to make herself warm or hot, she has bought how many pairs? 4 pairs. 4 pairs of woolen socks. And to keep out of the cold, I have bought a clock. What do you mean by clock?
It's like a dressing
Clock.
on
The spelling is
covering on head.
yes, CLOAK. Clock.
It's a type cave.
An outer garment. Sleeveless. Okay, sleeveless in structure, and it is used as a overcoat. Okay, a sleeveless outer garment. An outer garment that is sleeveless in nature and it is used as an overcoat. And to keep out the cold, I have bought a clock. And every day a cigar I will smoke. And what is the next remedy? Every day she would smoke a cigar. And all to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. So what are the remedies or precautions taken by the duck? The first one is she has bought 4 pairs of worsted socks. Then she has bought a clock. And the third one is every day she would smoke a cigar. Said the kangaroo, I'm ready, all in the moonlight pale. But to balance me well, dear duck, sit steady and quite at the end of my tail. So away they went with a hope and a bound. And they hoped the whole world 3 times round. And who's so happy, oh who, as the duck and the kangaroo. So kangaroo became so happy because duck has taken enough precautions so that the kangaroo will not be affected with rheumatism. So the kangaroo agreed, yes, I'm ready to take you for a ride. All in the moonlight pale. Pale means dull. Okay, so the time when they are going for a ride is night. There was a dull or pale moonlight during the night time. But to balance me well, dear duck, sit steady. So kangaroo is advising the duck not to move side to side. Please balance yourself by sitting steady so that I can hope. And quite at the end of my tail. You just sit at the end of my tail. So away they went with a hope and a bound. Bound means leap or jumping. Okay. They hoped and they jumped. And they hoped the whole world 3 times around. How many times did they go around the world? They went
Three.
around the world 3 times. And who's so happy? Or who has the duck and the kangaroo? And finally, the question, who is happy? Who is happy after the ride?
The duck
The duck and the kangaroo.
Yes, both of them, the duck
and
as
the
well as the kangaroo, both of them are happy after the ride. So this is all about the nonsense poem, especially written for children. Just quickly go through it and I will show you a video. There is nothing much to learn about. You just note the request made by the kangaroo, then the imaginary places mentioned by, sorry, request made by the duck, then the imaginary places mentioned by duck, and the objection produced by the kangaroo, and the precautions taken by duck so that the kangaroo will not be affected with rheumatism, and how many times they hope the entire world. So these are the key points in the poem. Yes.
And this poem is having a rhyme scheme, right?
Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, what is the meaning of gracious?
Gracious means, here it means you have a lot of opportunity to hope. Hope means HOP, jump. Okay, a good opportunity to jump around. An opportunity for a journey is what is meant by gracious. Yes.
Why is the duck smoking the cigar?
Duck is smoking the cigar so as to make both of them warm. Okay, kangaroo and the duck should be made warm. That's why duck is smoking a cigar. Yes.
Ma'am,
Mm.
ma'am, duck has only 2 legs, right? Then why it got 4 pairs of legs?
4 pairs means once the 2 pairs become wet, she has to replace with the other pair. Okay, because they are going for a long journey. So they hope the entire world 3 times. So in between, if her legs becomes again wet and cold, that will be very much uncomfortable for the kangaroo. So she has to replace the one pair with another. So 4 pairs, very much advanced. Huh? Bought 4 pairs of woolen socks. Okay, now I think you all have finished reading. So let me show you the video.